It's awful.
Got my origami book. Origami.
I hope this is how it's starting. That's my origami. It's
That's
my
my
origami.
hair.
Okay, I think we're live now, guys.
My origami.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, how's it going?
So, Ben's here with Edwin.
Hello.
Joe, how's it going? We haven't seen each other's faces since this lockdown. We've been on phone calls, but
yeah, it's true.
it's the first time I've seen Ben a few times, but it's the first time I've seen everyone's face. Like,
I've never ever seen Joe before.
Who is this man?
This bald head.
Hologram drummer.
Okay, yeah, I think we're all still in lockdown. I hope so, anyway. What have you guys been up to? Has it been easier writing songs or actually harder?
It's been a bit harder actually, because you haven't got your routine around it. Like, well, for me anyway, at the moment, I haven't got like my normal routine around it. So it's kind of like some days you overdo it a bit, but it's not been going bad at all. I've been keeping busy.
So you would say it encourages your creativity?
Yeah, you've got if you've got more time, if you're fortunate enough to be at home, you've got more time. So yeah, I mean, there's no point wasting time, is there?
Yeah, I know Ben is still working. I can imagine it's actually been harder for him now because he's in care.
It's been about the same as before, if not a bit harder, because with everything going on at the moment, I work in social care, so it's pretty crazy at work. But I don't know, we've been kind of just sending each other recordings back and forth, haven't we? Just trying to carry on and keep our routine of writing more or less the same. But it's been difficult because we've always written separately and then come together at weekends, where can't really do that at the moment. So it's kind of weird.
We're getting by though. We're getting by. I think, we're making the best of the situation. Like, me and Ben are always talking to each other and like video calling. So it's not like it's wasted time. Like, we are keeping busy.
Yeah. I thought you were writing via Skype calls as well. That must have been weird.
It's to be fair, it's just weird FaceTiming, like, full stop, if you know what I mean, because we always had, we could always hang out anytime we wanted and write whenever we wanted. It was just like, what are you doing this weekend? Let's get together. So having that taken away from us is quite weird,
Yeah, it's like, I've just moved house, so it's actually been super nice having like a proper space. I'm not just shoved in the corner of the spare room. So like the time I have actually had at home at weekends writing has actually been a lot nicer. I've had space and much more space to do things. So I've actually kind of been a bit more inspired outside of the whole COVID thing. So it's kind of, I don't know, moving house is better for writing than COVID. That's all I'll say from this.
I think those of us who have gardens have been really lucky because we can just go out and chill over there, like a bit of a change of scenery from just being stuck inside. But I know Jeff hasn't got a garden. How are you coping?
Not too bad. I'm doing pretty well. I bought a new guitar, so been playing quite a lot. Probably practicing more than when we weren't in lockdown, to be fair.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I've been Joe's been practicing as well, annoying his girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm keeping her up. She's been she's working from home, so she has to work next to me while I play drums all day at the moment.
That sounds like a massive punishment, to be honest.
Do you have an electric kit at home, Joe? Would you have like a full acoustic one?
No, I've got a small place, so there's like people above me as well, so I have to use an electric kit. There's no way I could use an acoustic here; it'd be way too loud.
You should do it anyway.
You should do it anyway.
You should just do it anyway.
Yeah, fuck him, Joe.
Rock and roll, innit? Fuck your neighbours, rock and roll.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't take my advice.
No, don't complain.
Have you been missing going on tour?
I think that, yeah, definitely. Who doesn't? Do you know what I mean? Who doesn't? Like,
I think with the tours we've had cancelled, this it definitely feels like we've been missing out on a lot the last few months.
yeah, it's quite punishing in a way, isn't it?
I think that's the longest we've stayed at home, like not playing any shows, because the last show we played was in November.
Yeah.
It's been 6 months since we toured. We've done one show since then, so it's definitely the longest time we've gone without playing shows, really.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it? It is pretty wild to think of. And like even just sitting here right now and kind of like even, you know, discussing when do you think the next show will be, it's like no one really knows. Do you know what I mean? It's like you see tours being announced and stuff, and you look at every single, like, you know, month that they're going to be touring on, and you're like, is that being optimistic? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to gauge.
Yeah, I've seen tours being announced for like June and August. I don't think those tours are going to happen.
It ain't fucking happening. Like, let's get real. That ain't happening.
Nah, it's not, is it? It's not. But I mean, the moment that we have it back, it'll be great. Do you know what I mean? So at least we can look forward to that.
I think on the plus side, everybody's probably using the time to be productive with writing and everything else involved with being in a band.
I was saying to someone the other day, I wonder how many albums come out after lockdown.
Yeah.
Loads. Like there's been some artists who've actually been writing and releasing albums straight away. I think Charlie XCX just released one that she's wrote during the lockdown. And there's been other artists, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there'll be like, I think the one thing to look forward to is like, you're not just going to get live shows. Like, I think so many bands are going to start, you know, releasing records.
There'll be a lot of fucking awful SoundCloud albums coming out.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of fucking shite. But yeah, I guess you got that to look forward to, haven't you?
Absolutely. I've actually missed just being sat in a van and being tired and sleepy and arriving at the next place with shitty food.
Having your first shower in 4 days.
Yeah.
Tour vibe at home. I was gonna like put some really crap sandwiches on the table, a sleeping bag on the sofa or on the floor even.
A big bowl of hummus.
Fire a van in the park outside, like put all my gear in it just to worry about it.
Yeah. What do you think are your 5 most essential things while going on tour?
All right. I know mine then. Don't forget your fucking socks. We've done it.
I've done that too.
Don't forget your fucking socks, because that's a nightmare.
You'll end up in the first H&M you find.
The problem is you have to like ask people then, like if there's no shops close to like the venues you play, it's fucking awful, because you have to walk up to someone and be like, is it cool if I borrow one of your socks, like a pair of your socks? And it's just that moment where they look at you and you look at them and you're like, yeah, I am asking, can I borrow a pair of socks?
I think on that Trivium tour, that was 7 weeks, wasn't it? I think that was the hardest for us, being able to pack enough clothes, because we didn't know when we were going to have the opportunity to wash them. And I'm pretty sure some of us had to wear their underwear more than one day.
Remember that guy on our first US tour? He had a bamboo socks. He offered me a fresh pair of his bamboo socks that you can wear them for like 5 days and they don't smell.
That's probably what we all need.
That Trivium was literally the reason I have like so many pairs of underwear and socks now. Like,
yeah, it is.
Same.
I just kept buying like socks every week, and I literally could go a month without washing them, I swear.
Yeah, I think I actually bought 7 weeks worth of boxers and socks.
Okay, so underwear and socks, that's the first item. What is the other 4?
I know.
Yeah, beer or whiskey for Jeff, definitely.
I definitely wouldn't call that essential. There's probably one thing we don't need.
I agree.
Don't forget your passport if you're going
That's
away.
probably the number one, though, isn't it?
Has anyone lost or forgotten their passport in this band yet? I don't think it's happened.
I know that Joe has put his passport in a bin bag that was left in the van, and someone put it
But-
in
I
the
put
bin
it,
Throw it away in the bin.
I put James
with your car keys.
But I love the fact in that bag was like empty cans of Strongbow, keys, and a wallet in a blue plastic bag.
And passport, just all the essentials.
Oh man. All right. Passport then. So passport is.
So that's two things. What else?
I know.
I like
Mine's got to be my pillow.
take a knife with me to make sandwiches with.
A knife for sandwich.
That's been actually been quite helpful because we cut avocados and things like that all the time.
Exactly.
Definitely a knife.
Yeah. I don't know. If don't forget your instruments. Is that one that came? I feel like I'm on like Family Fortune or something right now.
The medication's a big one if it's summer because you can never find that shit when you're abroad.
Oh yes. Oh
And
yes.
painkillers.
Hay fever tablets.
Yeah. Meds. Meds
Okay.
is definitely important.
form of entertainment,
Yeah, And-
Switch or a computer, laptop.
definitely. 150%.
All of those things.
Or a book about deep sea diving.
I always take a book on tour with me, and I either never start it or just read like 3 or 4 pages of it.
I usually lose a book when I take it on tour.
That's true. I think I had one of your books at my house.
That's the deep sea diving book.
Oh, yeah. That's the one I give you back.
I know an essential that Jeff also loses about 5 times every tour. You usually get through about 7 pairs of sunglasses per tour.
Very true. Very, very true.
That is very true.
I left my pair on the plane on the way to America.
And
Literally
then
the
you
first
bought a
time.
couple there as well, didn't you?
Right,
I'm
so how many?
wondering when you're gonna lose your actual glasses now that you've got a pair.
I mean, I got them just before lockdown, so I haven't had a chance to lose them. So I don't know.
It's going strong then, yes.
I've had these for like 2 months now. That's good.
Shall
Alright. How many essentials is that then? That ain't 5.
we? I think it was 4 or 5 now.
All right.
That's enough.
Oh, meds and entertainment. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Shall we let other people ask questions now?
There's loads on here now.
Yeah, wait before we do that. Okay. So we promised that someone's gonna win a merch bundle with a long sleeve, a tab book, a t-shirt, and a signed postcard, wasn't it? So the person who's gonna win this is gonna ask the best question. So you all ask questions, and then at the end of this Q&A, we're gonna pick the person who's going to win. So ask away. And Ash, you're gonna be picking out questions now.
All right, give me a minute.
Or Ben, if you spotted any cool ones.
I've got it on my phone now if you ain't ready, but
Yeah, go on, Ben. Go for it. We can just do them one by one. It's fine.
all right. Well, Xavier says, "Is this whole situation a sort of inspiration for you guys? So a source of inspiration for you guys?" Yeah.
I guess kind of in a way. You have that time. You have that more accessible time to sit and be a bit more creative, whether you use that time or not. So it's down to you, really, isn't it? But I found that I have been getting a routine going on where I'm like, right, today I would like to sit down, play guitar, record a bit. So yeah, it is helping. It is helping.
For me personally, I don't really feel inspired at the moment because the only thing that's going on in the world where you just, if you want to look at like news or something like that, the only thing you see is coronavirus, and I'm kind of sick of it. So I don't find it very inspirational, other than the fact that we're all stuck at home and most of us are depressed because they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it either. Like I can see from your point of view that that's yeah, but it's really not made any difference to like me going in or out. I've literally been out pretty much every day, so it's kind of different for me. But I guess for me, it's been really strange seeing how everything on the outside has changed. Having been outside is kind of going back to normal, and I've seen those slow increases of like traffic every day and the slow increases of people out and about. So it's definitely had a weird atmosphere outside, and maybe that's changed the way we've written. Maybe not. I don't know, but I don't know if I don't know if that's an inspirational thing. It's probably just a weird experience more than anything.
I think that time on our side though is definitely helping in terms of like trying different things, because you've kind of got that time now where you're like, actually, I have time to try something in a song that I might not have risked before. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you know time is on your side at the moment, so you can be a bit more like, right, I'm going to try something and it may or may not work. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of does push those boundaries a little bit.
Yeah, because we've always written so quickly in between tours. It's like been like, right, we've got a month now to finish this. It's got to be ready by, 3 weeks. Pre-production's got to be done. Larissa, you've got to get your vocals finished. Jeff, come and track your bass. And it's like, and Joe's got to finalize his drum parts like super quick. So it's definitely allowed us a bit more freedom, if anything. But
Yeah, I agree.
should I move on to the next question, Ash, or do you know where you're at?
I've got one from Michael McKenna. Where do you see the future of music? Well, metal genre. Vinyl had a revival, especially amongst metalheads, but can you see it lasting?
Jeff, you love vinyl. What do you reckon?
I love vinyl. The vinyls I own is the 2 VP albums. Actually, that's a lie. I've only got the first one. I think you've got the second one.
I've got two. I've got two of the Samsara discs.
Actually, I've got the Primal Chaos. I do have 2 VP vinyls. Yeah, I'm not really big into vinyl. I think I appreciate it for the artwork side of it, but I don't listen to vinyls.
Yeah, I think vinyls is more of that. It's more of a niche thing, isn't it? You're either a collector or you've got a couple of them. I think it's one way or the other with vinyl, isn't it? I think you're either into your vinyl, so you are just buying vinyl after vinyl, or it just isn't for you. Do you know what I mean? I think it's one or the other with it, because you've got streaming services now, so it's like that eliminates so much of it. Like you commute to work, you got your streaming service on, you go for a run, you do this, you got. So it's like, it is hard to also like with the vinyl, like it's a lot of money, isn't it, to be a collector? It is a lot of money, especially if you're really into those limited pressing and stuff. So I can see why it isn't for everyone.
I know what you mean. I used to collect vinyls, but I kind of give up on it because at some point I just didn't have the money and I was selling it off because some of it was worth quite a lot and others weren't. I kept, or things that I really enjoyed I kept. But at the moment, I don't even remember when was the last time that I listened to any of my vinyls, even though I bought new ones, since I just mostly listen to music on Apple Music, and that's pretty much it. It's more convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, I think convenience is the right word. Don't get me wrong. If you were to say like, you can have all these vinyls and like, do you want to just have vinyl? I would say yes, but it's not realistic for me to collect all of it,
Yeah, I think if people really like an artist, they definitely buy a physical copy. That's
yeah
what I've been doing. It's just something that you own, something even if you go to a show and buy it, it's just something you can remember, just like a cool token.
I think that's where most of my vinyls have come from. Like if I've seen a band that I've really, really liked and I've just like kind of bought a shirt and a vinyl. But I can't say I really go to shop like, record stores much anymore as such.
Yeah, Spotify kind of killed the experience. Like I think I'm with the rest of you, where like I online mainly or stream something, and if it's a band that you have a personal connection with, someone you've toured with, then you always kind of make the effort to pick up the vinyl just because you've got a personal connection to that, and you kind of want something, some kind of memorabilia, I guess. Like, kind of collect shirts more than vinyl, but yeah, I definitely, like, going back to the question, I think it's definitely, I don't know if it's made a comeback or last, like if it's going to last a super long time, but I thought sales of vinyl was higher than CDs. Like, I can't remember the last time I bought a fucking CD.
It is true. Vinyls do have a higher sale rate than CDs.
So. I don't think so.
What?
I definitely think we sell more CDs than vinyls.
The same again, CD's more convenient, isn't it? You can listen to it in your car.
You can listen to a record in your car if you have a turntable.
Yeah, if you plug it in the 9-volt, you'll be all right.
Question?
But we still haven't really answered that. Do you see it lasting? I do see it lasting, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's always been there. It's never going anywhere. And I think it's another thing for bands to give to people, you know, whether they're fans, and like there are a lot of people who want them. So I do think it'll continue to grow, and it's a lot more personal, and like, you know, the aesthetics of a vinyl, when you open it up and you look in the inlay, the artwork, there's a lot more to a vinyl than there is to a CD or anything else. So yes, I do see it lasting.
I definitely prefer CDs, vinyls over everything. Fuck CDs.
Yeah, so that is, I think that's our answer, isn't it? We do think it will last. Yes. Do you have a question, Ben?
I was just going to go to the next one. I hope I'm going to say his name right. I think his name is Gigi Portuguese.
Yes.
Think about preparing another live studio session. Is it even possible for you in the UK to go back in the studio?
We don't know.
I don't really know.
We don't know. If you, yeah, like we'll always probably do live studio sessions, and like we did actually talk about doing one recently, funny enough, like a couple of weeks back, but it's just the reality and the logistics of even being able to do it. So
yeah, the problem we have in this country is households aren't supposed to mix. Like, you can go out and meet someone on a one-to-one basis as long as you're still 2 meters apart. So the 5 of us all live in different households, and going into another small enclosed space with crew and cameramen and sound people is just...
Well, we just all stay 2 meters away from each other.
It's not possible though, is it?
Yeah,
It's impossible.
yeah. And I think as well, like if we want this situation to get any better, like I think contributing to it isn't going to really help, is it? But do you know what I mean? As in like us going to do stuff like that, we want this all to be over with sooner. So kind of like, you know, the less we do right now as such, hopefully the quicker this all gets sorted, so everyone can get the, you know, normal lives back together.
Yeah, and Ash, you can't even leave Wales at the moment.
No, because they've said no one's doing anything, and I was like, yeah, respect, fair play, you got that down.
Why would you want to?
Yeah, why would you want to? We've got the lovely green trees and the green grass, and yeah, and the valleys. Nah, but yeah, like same again. Like I really don't know what the possibilities of doing a studio session in lockdown would be. Like I think the closest thing we would get is, you know, something like this Zoom chat thing, and maybe kind of doing it like I've seen quite a few bands doing it, but that realistically is the closest thing I think we would get, isn't it?
Yeah, I think even just us meeting up as a group in a practice room at the moment, not really allowed to do that.
Yeah, it's just about being safe right now, isn't it? Like we just got to, and like I said, we want this to end sooner, so contributing to it isn't really going to be great. Georgie Drake. This is a good one. I like this one. What horror film character would you each liken yourself to, and what's your top 3 films collectively? So,
Okay.
what horror film characters would you each liken yourself to? Let's start with that one. All right, we'll go in the line of. We'll start with Mike. I've thrown that straight on you
That's
there,
a
haven't
deep
I?
question.
I've
You have dropped me in the shit.
thrown that straight on you there.
What would I like myself to? I don't
In
really know.
As a horror film character, so you could even be. You don't have to be anything human. You could be Predator if you wanted to.
It's not really a horror though, is it?
I
don't know. I mean,
Alien.
I guess I'd like to be Freddy Krueger. I'd like to come to you and fucking get in your dreams and just shit with you.
I had a feeling that was
Have
coming.
it out in your dreams.
Well, in that case, then I'm going to choose Jason so I can stop him from fucking with me. There we go. Joe, who would you be?
It's got to be it, so I can transform into whatever I want.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Ben, what would you be?
I don't watch horror films. They freak me out too much.
You don't like horror movies, do you?
I don't like. I'll give Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones.
That's it.
All right, Larissa.
I think I might be that thing from The Outsider. So that worm thing, alien that kind of transforms into other people, then eats children, and then goes and transforms into another person.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, to finish that question off, what is your top 3 films collectively? So what top 3 films do we all agree on? We'll have to go through this fairly quickly, but Speed 1.
Speed.
Band, I'd say What We Do in the
Speed, Con Air.
The Shadows, that's 2.
Yeah, well, Ben said then, What We Do in the Shadows, Speed 1, and
Con
then
Air.
it's either, right, I was going to say Con Air, but it's either Con Air or Commando just because of that tour story. Go on, Jer. Go on, you tell him. You tell him.
What story?
Do you not remember what happened when we were in the van watching Commando and the fire extinguisher went off?
We were driving down the motorway in Germany. There's a scene with a lot of explosions going off, and one of our mates, Zach, who was on tour with us at the time, put his foot on the fire extinguisher.
Right now, by the way. Yeah, that's Zach.
He put his foot on the fire extinguisher, set off a CO2 canister in the van on the Autobahn in Germany, filled the van up with CO2, and we had to pull over. He thought his legs had been blown off.
There was an electrical fire because all the CO2 was coming up from like where the handbrake was and underneath all the electronics. Fucking freaky.
It was just perfect timing. Explosion, then the van just turned white. Our drummer at the time, our first drummer, ended up running out the side door in traffic on the motorway. That was a pretty hairy situation. That could have been.
Because that was in Germany, and the doors are on the side, so
Yeah.
open it, you actually
Literally ran out into traffic on the Autobahn.
That was a good day. It was a good day. All right, Ben, have you got another one?
I've kind of lost where
I've seen one that I liked. I don't remember who it was, but the question was if we were in like an apocalypse, in a survival horror movie, who would be the first to die? And that's Pazuzu Barnaby.
Who would be first to die?
I think Joe would be the first to die.
Oh, why Joe?
Joe is just always completely gone. He's just somewhere in space.
Yeah, I do that.
So how do you respond to that, mate?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm probably the strongest out of all of you, so
You probably-
I'm going to die first.
The strongest is always the first to go.
Take them all on easier than any of you guys.
Just-
I can just push you guys back if I needed to.
I don't know who would be the first to die. I don't think that's a good enough answer, Lewis. I think
I think to elaborate on what kind of the question needs to be what kind of apocalypse, because we kind of got one going on right now. Like,
I think
I think I've done enough stupid shit and not died. I think I probably.
That's true.
they don't call you Bulletproof Mike for nothing.
They don't Kung Fu Jeff.
That'll be a problem though. You're trying to do this first.
I reckon I have a chance of dying first. I reckon I just get so pissed off and just like go straight for it. There's like a fucking massive alien there, and I'll just probably say something to it, and it'll just rip my head off. So, all right. I think. What else have we got here? What other ones? Okay, I got a good one from
There's
Adam.
one.
Oh, go on. You do yours.
If we had to, this is from Tom Stevens. Big up, Tom. If Men in Prison had to rank Taylor Swift albums in order, what would your favorite Taylor Swift album be?
The only one I like is 1989.
That's what I said as well. That is what I said.
Is that the one with all the bangers on it?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
full of bangers.
Yeah, I'll go for that then. Yeah, 1989 is it?
There's another question as well about guilty pleasures. I guess that kind of ties in.
I generally know mine. And it has to be Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby One More Time." Like, I'm not joking when I say that either. It was my first CD with my baby blue CD player. And I remember I had Bloody Raw, the game on PlayStation, and that was Christmas. Still listen to it now.
We rarely listen to metal on tour. It's always pop music.
It's just
It's
easier.
Always cheesy shit. Yeah.
It's just easier, isn't it?
I would say, like, all of our guilty pleasure is Buffalo Soldier.
That is true.
I'm not sure it's a guilty pleasure. Just a straight up anthem. All right, let's go across everyone then. So Larissa, what would yours be?
My guilty pleasure would probably be, I don't even know. I'm not really ashamed of anything that I listen to.
All right, something that you think people will be like, what the fuck?
Exentacion, maybe.
Yeah, that is a bit of a guilty pleasure, let's be honest.
I'm going to tell you that in 2019, that was my number one on my Apple played all year. Number one song, number one album, number one artist.
I think mine in 2018 was Justin Bieber, Purpose. But
it was, I remember.
Ben, what would yours be?
I don't know. I've got tons. Like, I don't know. I like a lot of country music that a lot of people would probably hate, I guess.
So you'd say country music could be the one.
Music and miserable ambient piano music that most people would.
the dreary times.
I mean, Jeff. I mean, if Jeff sits at the front of the band with me, the first thing he'll usually say to me is, "What is this dreary shit we're listening to?"
He does. He does.
I'd definitely say Jeff's got the worst taste in music out of all of them.
That is scandalous. That is bullshit.
Scandalous. All right, Joe, what would yours be?
I must admit, one track I listen to a lot is Dragostein's Inte by Ozone.
Oh, mighty he, mighty her. Yeah, I know that song. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff? Mike.
Scooter.
Jeff.
Scooter.
Yeah. Hang on. What's your favorite Scooter song?
I don't fucking know. It's not Scooter. Elton John. I fucking love Elton John.
That's quite a good one though. All right, I got another one here from David Greenhouse. Who's been the most inspiring band you've been on tour with? Should we start with you, Mike? We'll go backwards this time.
I don't really know. Come back me. I think you started with me before. Let me have a think.
All right, Joe, most inspiring band that we've been on tour with.
Yeah, I'm struggling to answer that one as well. Well, me personally, or with Venom Prison? Is this
That it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough, isn't it, to answer that? I think what
I'd
I
say
think
personally,
Yeah, maybe Cytotoxin, just because I love watching their drummer every night.
that's a good answer.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
I don't know, man. I was thinking about, so I'm kind of looking at all the tour posters in my room here. I mean, I have to take my hats off to Star coming back, and they still genuinely look like they were having loads of fucking fun. I think like for a band to be going that long, that was pretty inspiring, just to see them like still like friends and still close and still like enjoying themselves. And I guess on a grander scale, I suppose like seeing like Power Trip and Trivium every night was like pretty mind blowing. Just like the dedication and like, and that was like next level, like especially for Trivium with their production. That was kind of pretty inspiring to see how sort of metal bands can take it to that next level.
I'm with you on this. I was actually going to pick Trivium purely just down on like the work ethic of the band and seeing how like dedicated they are to it, and just, you know, I think that kind of opened up this band to another level of, you know, our actions of being a bit more professional, just from seeing the way they went about their day-to-day tour life. You know what I mean? I think that was quite inspiring, just to see how and what dedication they, you know, they put in the band to get to that level. And I think like as soon as you see it, you know, from an inside perspective, you're like, these people they graft very hard. I think that's inspiring. So I'm going to say my pick would be Trivium. So Lewis, what would you say?
mine would also be Trivium, just because we just learned so much from them, and I felt like we haven't truly experienced what it's like to be on tour really until, even though we toured loads, until we toured them. They just gave us a completely different perspective. We were able to play in front of their fans without like knowing what to expect, because we're so different. And them just picking younger bands like Code Orange, Venom Prison, and Power Trip to support them is just a pretty bold move in itself. And they just been really nice people. They've been really easy to tour with. They've been really accommodating, which not every band is. So for me, it would definitely be Trivium as well.
I think I would have to say the same as well. I mean, they're a band before we even went and saw with them. I've liked for years. I remember seeing them when they first played Download Festival. Well, fucking don't know how long ago it was, 15 years maybe, when they opened the main stage. So yeah, to go on tour with them, kind of see the progression. Like I said, having grown up listening to them and then seeing them that long ago and then to what they've become now it's pretty inspiring.
All right. Do you have another question, Ben?
I did have one. Hang on, like it's kind of. Someone was talking about. Okay, this is a good one. So this is from Sam Reduction. I'm really sorry if I butchered your surname. If you guys could get a hero of your personal instrument, okay, so I guess, yeah, if you could get a hero of your personal instrument you play to guest on a new Venom Prison track, who would you ask? There's some kind of collaboration. What would your dream collaboration be?
Pierre Knuckle Dust.
I don't know really. Like, I think it depends, because there's so many different aspects, isn't there, of like, it could be a singer or a guitarist, or like there's so many different people that you could choose.
Like, who would you have like as a fucking shredder? Or someone.
That's a good question. Like, that's a good question. Maybe, I don't know. Would you say you could say Bill Steer Carcass would be very cool? That would also, be very fitting. Like I think Bill Steer would be a very good inspiration for me personally. So guitarist wise, I think that would be cool. That would be cool. Especially like, you know, how Carcass would definitely have influenced Venom Prison quite a lot. I think having that would be quite special. So that would be me personally. What about you? What would you pick, Ben?
Me, I might go the softer route. Maybe someone who does like maybe like Sigur Rós or something like that. Just to bring something different to the mix. That would
be cool.
Maybe like I don't know. There's this guy Andy Offling that does amazing ambient stuff. So just some kind of bring something different and see how it would work, having that abrasiveness and something pretty.
Larissa?
For me, I think it would be Chelsea Wolfe. I just think she's a great musician. Her voice is amazing. And just to collaborate with her on a musical as well as vocal level would be pretty fucking sick.
Joe?
I want to say like Joe Quayle as well.
Yeah.
We had a great time doing the Damnation Fest collaboration. Like so down for more of that stuff. That'd be sick.
What would you say, Joe? What would yours be?
I'll probably go for Jamieson Marrett. His endurance is unbelievable, the amount of speed he can play. And he plays unbelievable linear patterns as well, and his rolls, his like consistency on his rolls is ridiculous. If you haven't watched him, definitely check it out.
Would that be someone who would be like a dream collaboration on a record with you?
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah.
That is cool. What about you, Jeff? Mike? I keep calling you Jeff. I don't know what to call you now. I call you Jeff all the time. And now it's like it says Mike on the screen, and I'm like, who?
You don't even know who I am.
Who's this?
I don't know. I think for me personally, I mean, I think it'd be cool as fuck to have Dave Mustaine, not to do vocals, obviously, but.
I hope Dave's watching this.
He definitely is.
Hang on a minute.
Think, like his rhythm playing.
Can I stop you there? Just because it's related to what you were saying. Do you want to let everyone know when you spoke to Dave on Twitter?
Oh, I had a Twitter interaction with Dave. He bought out a new pickup. What is it called? Like, I think it's called the Thresh Factor. And I said to him, you should have called it the Dave Sustain. He told me I was childish and it was a shit idea. I got a notification on my phone. Dave Mustaine's replied to your tweet, and I shit myself. I was like, this is the coolest thing. Opened it up, and he just fucking rips into me. What a cunt.
So yours would be Dave Mustaine.
Oh, I mean, now you've brought that back up. I don't know. He's out.
All right, who would second choice be?
It'll probably be my second choice as well, to be fair.
And third.
I think his rhythm playing's like very underrated.
Yeah.
He's such a good rhythm player. And you've obviously got the Metallica or the Megadeth clan. I've always liked both, but yeah, I mean, his rhythm playing is as good as it gets, really, in thrash metal.
Yeah, I do think like his playing is very good, especially like even when you listen on like Rust in Peace and stuff, like just the amount of like riff after riff, like he's got a bag of riffs, and
he does have a big bag of riffs.
Yeah, you got to respect him for that. All right, have we got another question?
I've just spotted a pretty good one. There's so Marcus Moore says favorite service station bathroom.
Oh, that is a good question. What is?
Go on.
What is that really nice one on the way to Dring's studio?
On the way to Glasgow, yeah.
Like, do you know the one I mean?
The one where I fed the
farm one with the shitty coffee.
There's two. There's that one where you can feed the ducks and stuff, and then there's another one on the way to like Liverpool.
Gloucester services is really nice.
Yeah.
Good one. Gloucester's the one that looks like the military bunker off Warzone.
The question is about a bathroom, though, not the actual service station.
But the bathroom in the one I'm trying to figure out where it is has a really nice bathroom.
I think the bathrooms in Germany, the ones that you have to pay for, they're really good.
Pay for.
Yeah. I don't want to pay for them. Obviously, that's the shitty bit, but they're clean.
Yeah.
Just slide under on my knees.
If you ain't jumping the barrier, you've got to ask yourself some serious questions about yourself.
Yeah, innit? It's either like piss on the floor or slide under the barrier. But it's like, you give them 50 cents and get 50 cents back, being a voucher, and it's like, I don't want a voucher, man. It's like having a birthday.
Why do you think?
Go on.
So we haven't really figured out what we would pick. So what's the one with the ducks?
Oh,
I can't remember what it's called, but it's en route to like Glasgow, isn't it? It's kind of like up in the north somewhere. But yeah,
That's what I would pick personally. But then I guess everyone else is now. So
I'd probably pick the same just because they have ducks and the bathroom is actually nice.
yeah, they've got ducks, but the bathroom's covered in shit. But
worst bathroom then you've seen on any service station?
oh, do you know what the funny thing is? I'm sure it was one in Germany as well. It was one of those outdoor ones, you know. That's
what it's called, T-Bay.
T-Bay. Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
T-Bay. All right, worst one. I don't know the names of them, to be honest. Like,
I think the worst ones must have been somewhere in America.
They're all fucking insane.
yeah.
You've got Gloucester, you've got T-Bay, which are nice. The rest of them are all dog shit.
Thing is, it's like services. It's like it's hit or miss, really, isn't it? You just got to think yourself lucky if you're going in for a shit just after the cleaners have been there. When it all boils down to it, really, isn't it? Well, I've got one. Oh, there's one here that is Reva, best and worst food on tour. Best and worst food on tour.
Best food was Trivium.
Yeah.
Every single day.
We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I think it's like the best. Like, what's the best place you've been to, and what's the worst place you've been to? Like, let's go food spots. Let's do food places we've been to. So, what's the best place we've eaten food on tour? I really like
in Vienna. That swing kitchen place.
Swing kitchen.
One place. It's White Castle. What's the best in White Castle?
White Castle rules all. It's just for the drink machine alone. Do you know what I mean?
Best time of your life. You'll do endless poos. Like, oh, yeah.
Do you know what my actual favorite one would be, though? My actual favorite one would be that pizza place we went after, Audio Tree.
Fuck yeah.
That was really good. In Chicago. I don't remember what it was called.
A macaroni cheese pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called seitan and pineapple. It was like a Hawaiian. It was like a barbecued Hawaiian style pizza. Went up.
Yeah. Everyone normally eats at different places on tour as well, like now and then. Like, we do eat together a lot, but there are days where people go off and get their own. So, like, what you went on a few little food walks in America, Joe. Did you find anywhere cool? I know you found somewhere cool with Izzy that one day. That show where we got attacked by all those bloody lotus bug things.
Oh yeah, that was just like a sandwich bar.
How was
That
that?
was just like a beef and onion sandwich. It's like I can't remember where it was now, but it's just a small little trailer in America, just like a typical sandwich place, really.
I think that was Austin in Texas.
Yeah, it might have been, but yeah, I was the locust day.
All those bugs on the venue wall. Do you remember that?
Millions of crickets.
Crickets. Crickets, that's the one, not locust.
Yeah, jumping all over while we're playing as well.
Oh yeah, one landed on my foot whilst we were playing. I was like, "Fuck me!" I was just like, "How do I pretend that everything's fine?"
I remember there was 6 when we finished.
What other ones? There's loads here. I just gotta find. Let's see if there's another one coming in. All right. If anyone can see any before me, Just
Oh, look.
I think that's the best thing about touring, though, is the food half the time. It's the best and worst thing about touring. You can always find a cool restaurant or somewhere cool.
right. I might. This is quite a cool one. I might have even. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but Rami Price. What was the worst job you've ever had? Starting from Larissa.
The worst job I've ever had was when I was 14. I was delivering papers and I had around 2,000 papers that I had to deliver every weekend. And I used to get up at 5 in the morning because I didn't want people to run into me because I was shy and weird. And at some point, I just started throwing them away. I think that was the worst job I ever had.
Ben.
I did a week in a cheese factory and then I went vegan. Like,
That's how it goes, though, isn't it?
packaging cheese. Man, I've been a fucking dishwasher for long enough too before. Those jobs suck. But
I've done that. I've washed dishes.
the lowest for me.
Joe.
I think I'm the same as Larissa. It's got to be, I had a paper round 1 day a week, and it would take me about 3 hours to deliver all these papers, and I got £7 a week for it.
Madness, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is,
I
man.
was a kid though.
What would you say, Jeff?
The worst job I've ever had was a couple of years ago when I between tours, and I was just kind of finding any old temp job just to make ends meet, and I ended up working in an industrial freezer, just shoveling pet food onto the back of the lorry, and working nights in literally like -30, and I'd have to lift by hand over the course of the evening about 4 tons of pet food onto the back of the lorry, and there for about 4 days and just walked out. It was miserable. I'd end up at the end of a shift nearly in tears. I was like, this is fucking awful.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, I can't
I did steal some.
angry.
I stole some pet food for Edwin though.
There is
I stole some pet food.
So there is a silver lining then. I think mine would be I had quite a lot of paper rounds, but then I got sacked because I used to burn them down the park and throw them in the river. I got sacked because of that, and then I worked in Matalan clearance. If you thought Matalan was like, honestly, it was really difficult because, like, you know, Matalan's like, it's big, isn't it? But like the clearance where like everyone just chucks everything on the floor, it's just like 4 hours of running around. It was yeah, and I was in school at the time. I think it was a weekend job, so it was just like school, then weekend. Be like, do you want to hang out? No, I'm working in Matalan clearance. Sorry.
Part-time arsonist.
Oh, a part-time arsonist. All right, I've got one here, which is also a personal friend as well from at home, Ashley Lucas. We got a good question here. What is the one place you didn't want to leave? We'll start with Jeff.
Probably New York or Portland, I think, for me.
Yeah, Portland was beautiful.
Portland's
Like,
beautiful. I think New York, everywhere you go, is like being in a film. So everywhere you go is you kind of know where you are.
it is that I was the one thing I was about to say there. It's so wild, isn't it, when you can actually like see something you've seen before on like a movie or something, and you're just like, holy shit, it does.
The first landmark we saw, the first time we went when we were in the taxi, the guy was like, "That's how we're there. It is the spaceship in Men in Black." I was like, "That's cool as fuck."
Yeah, that is cool as fuck, isn't it? Joe, what's the one place you didn't want to leave?
I did really enjoy Texas.
Texas is cool.
Yeah,
Texas.
was good. We were in it's kind of like a student town. It was just really nice and hot.
Dallas.
Relaxed there. It was just a really nice place.
Probably Dallas. Yeah.
Dallas, because Dallas was incredible.
Sorry?
Did you go and get pizza there?
No, I think I actually had a kebab there. I remember trying to get
The classic kebab in Dallas. I really like Texas. It's like it's a totally different world, isn't it? It's great. But Ben, all right, Ben, one place that you didn't want to leave.
I don't know. Yeah, I probably would have said there's some cities in Texas that I really liked, and then there were national parks in America that were just stunning.
You loved Texas,
I
didn't you?
want to go back to Copenhagen. There's some, I don't know what it is about Copenhagen that kind of clicked with me. Copenhagen was really cool.
Copenhagen's beautiful, very nice, and Christiana.
And I don't want to steal too much time, but the ferry ride to Finland was fucking insane. I'd love to go to Finland.
That definitely needs to be
That was
mentioned. That was very cool. I think Texas is definitely it's a very cool place, isn't it? What about you, Larissa? What one place didn't you want to leave?
When it comes to cities, I'd say Seattle. I think Seattle is one of my favorite places in America, and New York. But I've been back to New York a couple of times since we toured. So, but yeah, cities, Seattle, and general places, I'd definitely say Arizona, because just the drive through the desert when you go to California is just fucking insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It really is. I
I
think
agree with that.
I think I agree with what most people have said. Then I love Texas. I think Seattle and Portland definitely top for me. But yeah, there's a lot of places we visit, isn't it, on tour that, you know, there's a lot of places we'd like to stay more than one day.
Yeah.
All right, we've got another. I think we can fit in one more question if someone wants to pick one. Lewis, do you want to pick the last question?
You pick.
Uh,
I'll figure out who was the best.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
Announce the winner now, or
Well, we could do one. We could do one more, I think. Okay. Here's a funny one from Eric. It's not really a question. Wait, you guys are Brits? I thought Venom Prism was from the US. You're not the first person to say that either. But no, we're not from US. Okay, let me find one more quick one. What is your biggest influence your biggest influence on your music outside of metal? Outside of metal, what is your biggest influence? Joe, what would your biggest influence?
Yeah, come back to me on that one.
Yeah, Larissa, what would your biggest influence outside of metal be?
I don't know. Lil Peep.
I guess we can't argue with that, really, can we? Ben, what would yours be?
oh man, as much as I want to say Lil Peep as well, I couldn't name a single song. Geez, at the moment, maybe someone like Arthur Arnold's or Nils Fromm, just for the atmosphere. God, that sounds so pretentious.
Is that what you're listening to a lot at the moment?
That's what I'm listening to loads at the moment. Yeah.
Jeff.
I guess, I don't know, I don't even know if it's controversial to say it, but Michael Jackson is like my earliest musical memories, the kind of thing which got me into music in a big way. I don't really listen to it anymore, but
It still sticks with you.
yeah.
It definitely, like, it's one of those things.
Because you like connected with it like as a kid, and now you're finding out all these things, and then you just don't really know what to think of it. Which
That's why I was called Michael. My mum called me Michael because of Michael Jackson.
My mum called me Ashley because she liked Casualty, the TV show. All right, Joe, any more thought? There must be loads of drummers that are not in metal that you love.
Yeah, I don't really watch. I mean, most of the time I do watch drummers that play metal. That's the problem with it. I mean, I like Travis Orbin when he's not playing metal.
Yeah.
He does loads of session work with people like Pete Peterson, and none of that's metal, so like acoustic guitars. I like that.
I think that counts though, because it's still an influence outside of metal.
Yeah.
Right. What are we looking like for time?
do another question, I think, and then
Does anyone?
announce the winner.
Ben, do you have one?
It just came in now. If you could travel back to any time in history to play a gig, where would you go? Quite like that.
Nice.
Hey?
Oh,
It'll be the Jurassic period, isn't it?
you'd want to play to some dinosaurs. That would be sick though. Imagine like a Velociraptor circle pit.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Playing with
Oh.
T-Rex.
So you would choose dinosaurs.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, what would you choose? What time?
I don't know, maybe just after the Second World War, that'd be pretty crazy time to be going back to playing shows, I guess.
It'd be like coronavirus, really, wouldn't it? It's been a while since you could play a show,
Well, yeah. Well,
but it's not the same. But you know what I mean. Oh god, I'm making that large. Why have I done that? All right, Larissa, what historical period would you go back to?
That's really hard. I would probably say the Ice Age.
Yeah.
There would be no power or anything like that. We just have to do fucking acoustics, and we would feel like Metallica in the Antarctic.
You could dress like Manowar in your kind of like animal skin thongs.
It wouldn't be weird either, would it? You'd just be like, yeah, I can dress up as Conan today because that's what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know when mine would be. I don't know. It would be cool, just like not even that far from now, if you know what I mean. Like especially like metal.
I know when. Just
Okay.
before coronavirus hit.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That is, at least we'd be off tour now, wouldn't we? But we would have been on tour. I think mine would be.
big with now that you could have gigged with then. That would have been.
I think what would I would maybe choose something like 80s, 90s. It'd be so cool to be around a lot of those bands that have influenced so many people and bands, but like not at a young age, if you know what I mean. Like as in actually Venom Prison active at that time. That would be pretty cool to see that, like, you know, all these bands doing like local shows and stuff. But that is a tough question to answer. Is there any more questions we're going to get in before you want to announce, Larissa?
I think I'd say we're probably there now.
Yeah, we've done a good hour.
Yeah. Should I announce the winner?
Who's the winner?
Who's the winner?
So I need a drum roll.
Go on, Joe.
Come on, Joe.
Nice.
Okay, the winner is Georgie Drake with the question: what horror film character would you each liken yourself to, and what's your top 3 films collectively? That's the question for me. And yeah, Georgie, you won. And just give us a message, and we'll figure out what sizes you need and where to send it to. Yeah. Thank you to everyone for joining and asking questions. We had a good time. I hope you all did too. Any last words?
You talking to us?
Are you talking to us?
Everyone.
Oh yeah, I had a great time.
I need a piss.
Yeah, I need a piss. Nah, it's been good. It'd be nice to do things like this, you know, now and then, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, thanks for joining us on Friday night. Have a good weekend. And I'm probably going to play Animal Crossing on my Switch now.
Yeah, I still need a piss.
Yeah, are you coming on Warzone?
Yeah, go on then. See you there. See you in the gulag.
Right, I'm done. So, thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.